Sam.
And it's good to see you, Honorable Kuria, because so much activity has happened today in the country. But let's begin by you telling us the impact of those concessions on the revenue targets, because initially the target was 302 billion shillings. Once you have considered on some of those measures, what happens?
Thank you very much, Sam. One of the things that we are trying to explain to Kenyans was we had, in the budget-making process, there is a proposals by National Treasury, which was brought before Parliament and put in the Departmental Committee of Finance and National Planning. So after those proposals come from the National Treasury, the next step is public participation, where we say this is what the National Treasury is supporting, is recommending on raising these measures to support these expenditures.
Right.
At the same time, and I really want Kenyans to understand this, at the same time the finance bill is tabled, so is the expenditure side, what we call the estimates. And I kept saying that we receive a lot of views from the public on what the finance bill should be,
right,
but that robust conversation is not as much on what the budget is. Because this money goes to supply side of government.
Right.
Around the same time was, for example, discussion about the division of revenue bill, where now, for the first time, the allocation to counties have exceeded the 400 billion shillings mark. So where in this exceeding the 400 billion shillings mark to now 400.1 billion shillings to counties across all the 47 counties of the country,
right,
where does that revenue go come from? And that's why you see now these aggressive tax reforms coming in, because at the same time we are saying we have borrowed too much, that we are at a point where even our credit ratings globally...
We'll get to the impact. Just give me that short answer of what happens to the revenue target of 302 billion.
So so there are two things that are happening. So first of all, courtesy of a court ruling that was made in 2019, that makes the finance bill has to be passed before the Appropriations Act. So we are saying that before you approve the expenditures, there must be proof of where those money to support those expenditures are coming from.
Right.
So as a result, once now we recommend the proposals on the bill, one of the options on the table is to reduce the appropriations bill, the estimates now.
Right.
Where we're saying, because even after tabling my report today,
right,
members of Parliament have already written to the Speaker seeking amendments on already the amended further bill.
So tell me,
so every amendment,
based on those proposals that were read out by yourself and other leaders at State House, what is the impact on the target of 302 billion?
One of the considerations we're doing is considering reducing expenditure. And therefore, depending also, and you should expect even further amendments, because as we speak...
So you don't have a figure yet?
So far, we have a balanced figure of around 302 billion shillings.
Yes.
And the two are derived from a 1 percentage point increase on railway development levy and 1 percentage increase on IDF. So on the impact of it, and it from the analysis so far, it will be enough to fill the resource gap, but at the same time amending the appropriations bill. So the Budget and Appropriations Committee, let me take you slowly.
I want to hear from Chairman, but please, make it simple. You are targeting, sorry, not you. The National Treasury was targeting to raise 302 billion shillings with the finance bill, as it were.
Yes.
Now you have arrived at some concessions.
Yes.
What is the impact of that on the 302 billion?
We have a revenue gap of around 60 billion shillings. That we hope to reduce the expenditure side by a similar amount, so that we have a balanced.
So you still have you might achieve 242 billion shillings